Joe Gardner, where have you been?
I've been teaching middle school band, but on the weekends
You got a suit? Get a suit, Teach. A good suit. Back here tonight, first show's at 9, sound checks at 7. We'll see how you do.
Soul is just so immediately a Pixar classic in my mind. We've got so many great scenes that kind of tug at the heartstrings, make you laugh. I wondered, in the history of the Pixar films, if you have a favorite moment or scene from those movies.
Everybody asks me this question. It's so hard for me to answer that question because I like them all. And it's, you know, is there a favorite? I don't think there's one I would place above another.
Well, right now, Soul is my absolute favorite.
Fair.
Yeah, Pixar's been doing it. I love The Incredibles. I love Up, you know, which is another one that tugged at the heart in a different way.
There was a time when I think we were all on tour and there was a movie theater inside of our hotel. And so just to pass the time, there was like a 10 p.m. showing of like Toy Story 3. And my manager and I went to go see it. And the thing is that to know who my manager was, he and I are an integral part of my first book, Momenta Blues. Like I'm kind of the person that sees everything in rose-colored glasses and everything. And my manager is very much like 22's character, like very cynical, very dry, you know, nothing impresses him. And so we were sitting next to each other watching Toy Story 3. And I looked to my right and I was like, are you about to tear up right now? Like that was such, think of the most stone-faced, emotionless person that's ever been in your life and imagine them like not wanting to do that. And that was that 6 seconds of the idea of vulnerability from this person. That's when I knew. I was like, wow, who thought? And the whole time on the tour bus the next day, I was telling the rest of the Roots, like, who thought for 6 seconds a Pixar film could break Rich? Like of everything we thought of, it was freaking Pixar. Can you believe? You know, but yeah. Soon thereafter, you know, all their films, like, you know, like who doesn't? I still watch there's a particular YouTube page where it's just the first 17 minutes of Up. Which is weird, like just the first 17 minutes of Up. It's like, oh, you already know, and you watch it.
You know, yeah.
Yes! Woohoo! You know what that's gonna say? Joe Gardner! I did it! I got the gig!
It's great that Pixar, you know, gives you the freedom to help define who this character is, you know, through the voice work. And I wondered, how did you find Libba's voice?
Through her intention and her understanding. And when I saw the rendering of her, that sort of sparked a certain feeling inside me too. She's an elegant doll. Yeah, she's an elegant doll, and she's a dressmaker. She's a shop. She makes beautiful clothes. You know, she's got an eye for things. And women like that, they're very specific. They're very detail oriented.
I didn't think so much of the voice. I think that I'm pretty sure that you know, they listened to the voice or the sound of the timbre or the resonance of the whatever voice and thought that it would serve their purpose. So when I came, it wasn't like to try to manipulate it or to do anything like that. But it really was to, you know, you look at the script that's there, the words on the page. You look at the character, this guy who's trying to make an impression, but no impression, but play that piano. That's the only place to make your impression. And here's your shot at it. And she doesn't play, she doesn't suffer fools. She has an extraordinarily high standard she sets for herself and every member in that band. And once you're in that band, you're in that family, and that's where it just warms you like the sun.
As a final note, I was just curious if you could tell me what it was like working with Pete Docter and Kemp Powers on this.
Oh, they're lovely. They are lovely souls, just gentle, kind, sweet, creative, easy to work for. And they just stay in the pocket. So yeah, I had a great time with them.
Oh, it was wonderful.
Mm.
Working with the two of them was just wonderful. First of all, there's such a collaboration there. And then I became part of that collaboration. And, that's really what you want as an artist. That's really what you long for in working with other artists. The days, as I recall, were never long. It was pleasurable. I had really enjoyed it. And this is my first animated feature. This is the first time I'm voicing an animated feature. And I've longed to do this since I was a little girl watching Johnny Appleseed on the big screen.
Oh.
Yeah. I used to go to bed at night thinking, oh, if only I could dream in a cartoon. If only I could dream a cartoon. If I could dream those colors. If I could dream that sunset. If I could dream that.
Yeah, so it's I knew coming in the gate that this was that, and the fact that in 2020, a lot of us are wrestling with what is creativity to us now, and a lot of us needed it just to survive 2020, our sanity, our happiness. So this film will do nothing but reinforce and reestablish that creativity just isn't for like weirdo artists. Like it's needed in every aspect of life, because if not, we're just machines.
You're still alive?
Can you help me get back?
No way!
There I am. What are we waiting for?
Wait!